Deslyn Norris, how did you create the organizational infrastructure at Topgolf to make sure everything runs smoothly?
Yeah, so my philosophy when you think about your people is really how do you get them, grow them, and keep them? So first, what are you doing to really attract the talent? And what do you do once they're there? So in terms of your benefits, the development that you're giving them, and then how do you actually keep them? And so ultimately, for me, it was working backwards into that plan of first having succession planning and then building development around that for the infrastructure.
Well, the company's been around, I think, about 18 or so years. You've been with the company 6 years. How do you keep your personnel motivated? Because it's not a startup, but they have reinvigorated the company of late.
Yeah, so I think if you were to ask most workers, they would say, man, I really don't get a chance to be myself at work. I really don't feel like that I'm engaged or that I'm empowered. So we've really taken that seriously at Topgolf. So we do a variety of things from first asking what is it that people want. So we deploy engagement surveys. I do something called a Rockstar Tour where I go out to our associates and really ask them, what can we change, what can we do better? Plus we also have benefits and things that map to our core values in terms of our culture.
And what about quality control? Clearly you want to keep the product in people's eyes, you want to get the word out there, but you also need to make sure that everything's running smoothly.
Yeah, so when I think about quality control, since I'm bent towards human resources, I really think about our managers in terms of how do I keep the quality control with them. So the first is we want to make sure that our leaders mirror our core values and our Topgolf way, but then we have a lot of different tools that we put in place to keep the messages and the things that we're looking for them to do consistent, whether that be calls. We have something called Workplace where we communicate, have a cadence with our associates, but that's essentially some of those mechanisms that we do to make sure that managers feel empowered, but yet they also have information and guidance.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face running your business over at Topgolf?
Gosh, hands down, it's growth. Growth is a blessing and a curse. Quite honestly, at Topgolf, we scaled so quickly. Just when you think about, I started when there were 900 people. At the end of this year, we'll have 20,000 people. And so when you think about in almost 6 years, that's a lot of growth in a short period of time.
And how do you make sure all the employees that you're going to be taking on to achieve that growth are skilled and know what to do, know their jobs?
Yeah. So essentially for us, it's important that we really hire more towards personality and values because we can teach you a lot of the technical skills with the job. So we have a lot of development and training that we pour into our people.
And what do you do if there's a wrong fit?
Gosh. So the first thing is we always want to make sure that we have what we call charitable assumptions. So is it a skill or a will issue? If we've determined that it's skill, then we always want to make sure that there's training or we see if there's another opportunity that that person can have. And if it's not, we do treat that individual with caring, but unfortunately, sometimes it's not a fit.
All right, well, thanks a lot for coming on and speaking about it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.